Hello and welcome to Navigating the Chapters of Challenge with Tele. Today I've got Newton with me and I'm really excited to have Newton. I met Newton only last week and I was so impressed by what I heard him say on a Facebook Live that I was on with him. So I just thought I need to get Newton onto my podcast just to have a chat with him because I really enjoyed our conversation on that Facebook chat. So I'm going to ask Newton to introduce himself because I really don't know much about him. Like I said, I only met him last week. So I'm going to ask him to introduce himself, tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll go straight into today's topic and discussion. So Newton, over to you. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are, and then we'll take the topic. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Newton Ohwerhi, and I'm from Delta State, Nigeria.
Okay.
Currently, I'm working in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
And aside that, I'm a keen observer of the human journey, the untold and unspoken battles that people face, and the quiet sacrifices that people make, as well as the stories that usually go untold.
Okay. Is that it? Tell us more. Tell us more. We want to know you.
Yeah,
You work in the hospitality unit. What else do you...
I'm a writer.
Okay,
I'm a writer
nice.
and
See?
also a YouTuber.
Okay.
I write stories on my Facebook page, stories
brilliant.
that covers issues with mental health, and then true life stories about happenings around Nigeria and in terms of marriage, relationship, betrayal, and so many of them.
That.
And then on my YouTube, do commentaries on issues, trending issues, and I also have another YouTube channel where I use pictures to tell stories.
Oh, brilliant. You see, you almost didn't tell us all about that. And that's so interesting. So today's topic is about challenges, the challenges that men face in life. You know, there's a lot of men are silent about the issues they go through. They go through a lot of emotional issues and they don't talk about it. So we're going to be talking about emotional issues. Why are men silent about the issues they go through? We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about things that men face in life generally. So I'm going to start off. I have questions. I've written a number of questions down that I'm going to ask. So from time to time, I'm going to refer to my book and we'll see how where the conversation takes us. So my first question to you is, as a man, when was the first time you felt you had to hide your pain? What did that moment teach you about yourself?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. When I heard of the topic for discussion today, the silent struggle that men face, the pressure for purpose, the struggle for provision, and the realities of fatherhood, I said to myself, this is not just a mere conversation.
No.
It's something that most of us in the society today, we dare not talk about because a lot of people see men as the pillars, see men as people who are built to be strong.
Yeah.
Yes. But I believe that behind those smiles, behind those, oh, yes, I'm fine, behind those paychecks, there are a lot of untold stories that men are not even allowed to tell.
Yeah.
Because they are made to be strong, so to say. And then there was a time in my life where I actually went through a particular pain that I was silent about.
Yeah.
About around 2022, I had a very serious financial issue, very, very serious financial issue. And at that point in my life, I couldn't bring myself to ask anybody for help because everybody was expecting that, oh, okay, you have something, you're doing, you're working, you should be able to catch up for yourself.
Yeah.
And then at home, it wasn't really that rosy. There was nobody I could fall back to at home. And I just had to keep it to myself. I just had to, swallow the pain and all of that. And then I remember when I was about to enter into the higher institution, my parents were having some kind of issues, and that really affected me personally because at that point in my life, I was going into a new phase and I was going to meet people that I don't know. And I remember my mom telling me, my name is already out for admission. I just have to go no matter what. So at that point, I realized that people expect you to do the needful because you are a man, because you're meant to be strong. So my mom told me, she gave me the push I needed. She gave me the encouragement I needed. And I went to school. I slept outside a church building for 2 weeks. I had no place to lay my head, but I wasn't complaining. I wasn't telling anybody about it. It was just a pain that I kept to myself. I even
Wow.
had to lie to my mom that I had somebody I'm staying with in school, everything is going fine, but I was sleeping outside a church building. 2 weeks until I finally met somebody who took me in, and then we were together and all of that. At that moment, I had to swallow my pain and wear a mask of strength.
Mm.
That's when people see me, they'll feel, oh, he's a strong man, he's a strong guy, he has things going on. But deep inside of me, I'm going through untold pains. Like there's nobody I can actually talk to understand because everybody feels like I'm a man.
Mm.
You get it? And then at some point, I realized that there's a stage to which you wear that mask and it becomes very heavy for you, like very, very heavy. And you will even get to the extent you forget what your real face looks like. So what how I was able to surmount this whole thing is I was able to search within me and annex the ability I had to make a way for myself.
Yeah.
I had to look around my surrounding. What are those opportunities that I have? In the school community, we have a lot of students who come to school, they read, they don't understand. They read the textbooks, they don't know what is even written there. So I began writing handouts. I began organizing tutorials. People started coming, they got to know about me. When I'm in class, I bring up meaningful conversation. And when lecturers are talking, they're asking questions, I give meaningful contributions. And with that, people got to know me and I was able to make a living for myself out of writing handouts, organizing tutorials, and welcoming people into my tutorials. They get to pay me something to teach them. I go for night quizzes and then I organize night tutorials where people get to pay me. And with that, I was able to find my fruit.
So that, from what you've just said, that shows that you were resilient. You were able to bounce back.
I was
Yeah,
definitely.
you were able to bounce back and use that experience to then make yourself more or less like a businessman in school. You created a
Exactly.
business for yourself in school. Well, that's really good. But why is it that men are taught not to talk about their problems? Why? Do you know
No,
why? Because I find this, I think this is the root of the issue that we have with men being so silent. Why are they told not to talk?
yes, I think men are actually told not to talk about their issues.
Okay.
How I feel it is that the society has made it look like, or should I rather say, has conditioned it like men are meant to be strong. When you're not doing anything, you're not working, people see you as you're failing.
Mm.
When you're complaining, when you're talking, people see you as, oh, you talk too much. Are you a woman? You should be able to handle these things. You are a
So where
man.
did that come
So
from?
that's it has been like that from time immemorial. It has been like that. Men has always been subjected. They've always been subjected to go through that. When you're going through something, you keep it to yourself because you're a man.
Mm.
I remember growing up one time, my dad was going through a lot with his work because the company he was working for at that time, they did a downsizing of staff and he was also affected. My dad did not have a job for like 2 months, but my mom did not even know about it because he didn't want her to talk about it. I think most of the problem comes from us as men because we feel that we are men and we are putting so much pressure on ourselves in such a way that when we are in trouble, we find it difficult to talk because you are scared of what people will say. You are scared of the standard or the checklist that the society has set for you to be a man,
Mm.
which makes it compulsory that if you're going through any type of emotional pain, you keep it to yourself and deal with it.
Mm.
But if we actually come to talk about it, we get to find out that there are people who are willing to help.
Yeah.
So I feel men should learn how to speak up.
Mm.
They should forget about the standard that society has set. Before you are a man, you are first a
A
human.
human being.
So you should learn how to speak up so people will know where your pain is coming from and people will know the silent battles that you're actually facing. I don't think there are people who say men shouldn't speak up. I think we as men, we have already conditioned our mind to see it as, oh, this is what the society expects. So that's why a lot of people don't come to speak up. I like it when people are actually battling certain things in their life and they're able to speak up. Even if at the end of the day you don't get the help you want, speaking up is kind of therapeutic because you
Yes.
feel relieved and it takes a lot of load out of your heart.
Yes, it does. So, but will you say that in your estimation, more men suffer from mental health issues than women? Or do you think that
Yes.
more women do? How do you think? What do you think?
Yes, I think more men suffer from mental health issues than women. Actually, recently, yesterday evening, I just wrote something on my Facebook page. Okay, I just wrote a story. I think I'll post it this evening. It's about a story of a 38-year-old man in Edo State whose name is Efosa, and is suffering from OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
Okay.
Now, why did this come about? It came about as a result of his obsession over providing for people.
Mm.
He has extended family who looks up to him. He has his parents to provide for. He has nieces. He has to provide for. And then as a single man, there's no support from anywhere. But then again, for the past 5 years, he has not even changed clothes for himself. But he keeps on going ahead with silent sacrifices, making endless sacrifices for his family just to make sure that they are okay. And just to make sure that nobody is complaining, but putting himself at a disadvantaged position. But when you continue like that, you find yourself, getting into another phase where it begins to affect your mentality. You become too obsessed about provision.
Yes.
Forgetting about yourself, providing for people, making sure that everybody around you is okay, because that is what the society expects from you.
Yeah.
And because some of these things actually starts from the family, because that's how we are raised up. We are raised up that in the family that as a man, you should ensure that your sisters are okay. You should ensure that your mom and dad are okay. There are a lot of expectations. But if we do not know how to say no sometimes, you see that we get too obsessed about the issue of providing for family, providing for people, and being a man, always being there when you're wanted.
Yeah.
But the truth is, when you constantly make yourself available to always provide for people and not doing anything for yourself, it gets to an extent where you have nothing left. And of course, you know that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you don't have.
There'll be burnout completely. You burn out.
Exactly.
So how do you balance? How would you advise men to balance this? Because there is that need to want to help people, or the desire to want to help people, but you also have to take care of yourself. So how, for instance, put yourself in that situation. How would you deal with that situation if you had all these different demands on you? How would you balance it? What would you say is the right way to balance?
Yes. It is very important that as a man, while you have the need to provide for people, or people are always looking up to you to provide for them, it is very important that you sit down and take a calculated risk of the benefit of every of your action. Because if you do not do that, like I said earlier on, at the end of the day, you will lose yourself in trying to make sure that you provide for people. You will lose your peace and you will lose your joy. A man that does not have peace at home and peace in his heart actually has nothing left.
Yeah.
You get it? So now, finding the balance is usually difficult.
Okay.
Because it's just like what I said about the society. The society expects a lot. But for you to be able to have a balanced ground where you can still provide for people and still find your peace of mind, you should learn when to say no. You should learn when to speak about issues. You should learn when to tell people, oh, not this time. I have certain things I'm trying to handle, my personal issues and all of that. It is not because you don't want to provide, but it's because there are other things that are more important at that time, which is yourself.
Okay.
Because you need to focus on yourself first before you have the ability to provide for people. If you are not mentally stable, if you're not physically fit, you will not be able to provide for people. So you should learn when to say no. And say no respectfully to people in such a way that they don't get hurt. So that's just it.
Yeah. Do you have any practical example of that, of something that's happened like that in your life? Do you have an example you can give us?
It's actually, yes. Just last year, I think around December 2024, I had sent money home to my mom for Christmas, and the usual expectation that every man should. So I've done my own part, and then I sent money to some of my siblings for the Christmas celebration and all of that. So a distant aunt of mine reached out to me, and she said that she wants to go to, because she deals on gari and starch. Because I'm from the Delta area where we, deal more on gari and starch and palm oil. So she said her business is actually suffering at that time, and it's Christmas period, so she needs some money to. So I just had to tell her that before now I used to support. So at this point in time, I'm kind of in a very tight corner that I cannot really give so much. But because at this point I've sent so much money for the Christmas, but if she had asked a bit earlier on, I would have known how to probably reduce my cost and accommodate one or two things so that I could probably send something to her. And I explained to her. I don't know if she felt offended, but to my own understanding, I felt she understood what I said. So that's just what it entails, learning how and when to say no. and doing it in such a way that people don't feel offended or
People
get
don't
hurt.
feel offended. Yeah. So we talked about silence, men being silent. And I just wanted to ask, in your own personal life, has being silent about what you were going through cost you? I know you told us earlier on that you turned the situation into some kind of business and that was good, but has there been a situation in your life where being silent has cost you?
Yes, yes. Remember earlier I said in 2022 I had issues with paying my rent.
Yeah.
And I found it very difficult because, like I said, people were like, oh, you're working, even if they know that the work isn't bringing so much, they have the idea that, oh, you're working, so you should be able to provide those basic things for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't talk to friends. I couldn't talk to family members because I'm the type of person that I don't want you to, like, after telling you my story or telling you about something, and at the end of the day, you use it against me, or with time, you start making reference to it. So when I thought of all of that, I'm like, oh, I just need to keep this to myself. That's a silent battle.
Okay.
I was fighting it. I was going through the pain. I couldn't pay my rent, but yet I was finding it difficult to talk about it. I was finding it difficult to meet family members for help. It's not pride, but just so they don't look down on me. But I didn't know people were expecting me to actually come up to talk about it until it got to the point where I began to suffer from high blood pressure. And at some point, I felt very sick in 2022 and I was admitted in the hospital. And when it got to that point, I saw that I could no longer keep silent about it. I began calling people to support me for hospital bills and all of that. And that was when I began speaking up. But if I had spoken up earlier on, if I had kept silent about the issue, it wouldn't have landed me in the hospital and even to the extent that I had to start battling for my health and all of that. So I always tell people, after that incident, I always tell people, no matter what it is, no matter the shame, learn to speak up, talk to people about it. You never know where the help can come from.
Yeah, that's such an important thing to say. But you mentioned the word shame. Should there even be shame associated with asking for people? Why do people feel a sense of shame in asking for help? Why?
You know, a lot of people would feel bad when they are turned down.
Okay.
And as a result of that, when they see you, they feel like, oh, I've asked this person for help and I can't even face this person anymore because the person said no.
Okay.
And or probably because of the way the person responded when you asked for help. Or probably you've asked somebody for help in the past and the person's like, oh, I thought you had a job. I thought you're working. I thought they're paying you. How much are you receiving? And all of this sort of unnecessary question that would just make you feel like, oh, it was needless at the end of the day asking this person for help. So a lot of people, when they start thinking of such things, the shame creeps in.
Okay.
They'll be like, oh, after all, I'm working. It's true. Okay. And then you see people will be silent and that shame will begin to creep in because they don't want people to ask them questions of, oh, I thought you were working. I thought you had families that you can call. Oh, I thought you had friends that you can call. You never can tell where these things will come from. And as a result of that, so many people keep very difficult to talk when they are actually in need. You see that they fight it within. They keep it. This doesn't just have to do with men alone. Even women go through this particular issue of shame when it comes to asking for help.
I hear you because you don't know what the person, and again, some people talk. So you don't know if the person is going to go around talking about the fact that you came to ask them for help and stuff like that. So that's some of the reasons why. I wanted to ask you a question about the weight of expectation. Again, like you said, we've talked about how your family expects you to take care of them and all of that. How do you manage the weight of expectation?
That's a very good question. Now, when people have so much expectation of you, you should understand that that is a normal thing, especially as a man.
Is it normal?
Yes, it's a normal thing. It's a norm for men. That is the expectation. The society has made it so.
Okay.
So when people have expectation of you, you just need to understand that there are a lot of things that comes with. There are a lot of different kind of expectations. There are bills to pay. There's your dream, expectation from your own self. You have dreams to chase. You have bills to pay. You have children to take care of. You have your parents to make proud. And then you also have to come out to not to look weak because that is what the society expects from you as a man. You shouldn't be looking like. When you have so much expectation, you need to sit down, breathe, because expectation can make you breathe under pressure. But you have to take your time.
To
You
breathe.
have to categorize these expectations and
Mm.
handle them in a scale of preference. You cannot kill yourself. You cannot
Exactly.
handle everything at once. You have to take it one after other. That is what I do from my own end. What I do, I put things in a scale of preference. The one that is most important and most pressing at that time, I attend to. The ones I can't attend to, I talk about it. If there's someone else who can attend to it, I just maybe push it to one of my siblings or something, just do something else because I can only do the one that I can handle. And I wouldn't want to put myself under so much pressure that would make me, maybe fall sick in the long run. And then when I'm sick, it adds to the problem. And there's now expectation from my health
Yeah.
again. So I always try to put things in a scale of preference and handle it as it comes. Put it
Gradually.
in a scale of preference and treat the most important ones first. So that's how I usually handle expectations.
But you see, we as human beings, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because sometimes I find that we compare ourselves with other people. So we're seeing the next person doing so well and we're thinking, oh my God, he's doing so well. What's happening to me? How do men handle such situations? Because, for instance, the next door neighbor's wife may be saying to your own wife, my husband just bought this big car and you can't afford to buy the same big car. How would you as a man deal with that? These are things, real life things that happen. So how should a man handle that kind of situation?
Comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes.
I usually don't compare myself with people or to people.
Yeah.
What I do is when I see people doing something that I have not done or have not been able to do, I celebrate with them.
Good.
Now, as a man, one of the things I've learned to do is because of the kind of society I grew up in a place called Sapele in Delta State. I see a lot of guys my age, the things they've done for themselves. And honestly, I'm happy for them, but I would not want to do it the same way they did it.
Okay.
I like taking my time. I don't rush things.
Good.
I always don't, when people say, oh, can't you see your mate, see what that guy has done? So I stay away from such people. I don't bring such people into my circle because when you bring such people into your circle, that is bringing negativity into your circle.
Exactly.
Because you put yourself under unnecessary pressure and under unnecessary expectation. Now, nobody's expecting anything from you.
No,
but because you are comparing yourself to your next door neighbor or to somebody who has done something that you've not been able to achieve, you see that you'll be putting more effort into doing things that are even unnecessary. At the end of the day, you may even find yourself doing something illegal just to meet up to that expectation or just to meet up to that comparison.
Yeah.
Like I said, comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah.
It will make you sad. It will make you sick. It will make your health deteriorate. It can even push you into mental health issues.
Exactly.
So the best thing for you to do is look at what that person has done, look at what you're doing and what you're not doing right. And like I said, search within you the hidden talents that you have that you can annex as an opportunity to make something for yourself. So recently, I just started my YouTube page and started ranting on Facebook. For a very long time, I've been saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, but I've been postponing it.
Yeah.
And then I see people, my mates, people doing the same thing I've been saying I want to do, but I've not been able to do it.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, it's time for me to start doing something.
Yeah.
YouTube is paying people, right? If I do what these persons are doing, I can always do it better. I studied mass communication, digital and electronic broadcasting.
Okay.
I majored in film, cinematography, public relations, and advertising.
Okay.
These things that people are doing are things that I can actually do. Why not do it?
Yes.
Instead of comparing myself to them? Because I realize that the more I keep comparing myself to them, the more it's eating deep into my heart. So I began to say, okay, I have to do something. I created a YouTube page. One of my auntie actually called me. There was a day, it was as if that was the call I was actually waiting for.
Okay.
She called and said, okay, let me know why are you not doing this? Because that's my native name. Okay, let me know why are you not doing this? You have the talent, you have what it takes, you study these things. People that are even doing it probably don't even have a certification in these things that they're doing.
Yeah.
I've seen you do things, you can do this. And immediately after that conversation, the very next day, I sat down, I opened my YouTube channel and I began writing stories on my Facebook. And I believe people have not started noticing it yet, but consistency would take me to that place I'm going to. Not just to sit down and compare myself to what people are doing.
Exactly. I think I love what you've just said about consistency, because I think sometimes we find that we feel like you just start something and because you've seen the other person doing so well. You don't know the journey that they have been through. You don't know how long it's taken them to get there, but you expect to want to get there immediately as well. But doing it consistently is what really helps. And I think that's a very good point to make. In terms of finding your purpose as a man, how do you go about finding your purpose? Because we all talk about purpose, but what exactly is one's purpose? And as a man, how do you tackle that issue of purpose?
I believe everybody was born with a purpose.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily need to be educated before you find your purpose in life.
Okay.
You may be created to be of helping hands to people. Maybe that is just your calling.
Mm.
You may be created to do ministry. You may be created to be a service provider. You may be created for something else. But as you grow, as a man, from your teenagehood, you need to identify those things you like doing that gives you joy and fulfillment. That is how to find purpose.
Yeah.
Those things you find joy in doing and it makes you feel fulfilled.
Mm.
There is purpose in it.
Yeah.
Like me, when I was growing up, I observed that talking to people, being there for people, advising people, giving my own quota to issues that I think are affecting society actually makes me happy.
Mm.
After doing that, I feel, oh, I've actually achieved something.
Yeah.
In the course of my life, I've actually done things that is in that line, talking to people, giving advices, giving my views on topical issues. And like I said, that was even one of the inspiration behind my write-up on Facebook and my YouTube channels.
Mm.
So I actually discovered my purpose is to talk about issues, to advise people, to bring issues to the light, to make people understand that when they are going through issues, there are certain paths that they should follow. There are certain ways that these things can be handled. You understand? So by knowing those things you find joy and fulfillment in doing, you'll be able to find your purpose as a man.
Okay. All right, we're going to switch it up a bit. We're going to go into relationships, men and relationships, and especially fatherhood. What do you think, what should a father be to a child? Who is a father to a child? Let me ask that question that way. Or what's the role of a father in the life of a child?
The father is not just a title. A lot of men feel being a father is just all about the title, being called a father. But there is more to being. A father is a provider. A father is a counselor.
Mm.
A father is the one that brings you back to track when you're going the wrong way.
Mm.
A father is one that shows compassion. A father is one that is always present. So you don't need to be biologically related to somebody before you become a father. You can become a father figure even without being blood related.
Mm-hmm.
You can build a relationship with a child by just showing them what to do and how to do it. So being a father comes with a lot of requirements, and it comes with it. I was having this discussion with a friend of mine that, when you become a father, you have expectation from two families.
Mm.
Your extended family, which consists of your mom, your dad, and your siblings, and then your immediate family, your nuclear family, which consists of your wife and your kids, and then a lot of fathers usually find it very difficult to balance their priorities between the family they belong to and the family that they come from. So being a father to your immediate family doesn't stop you from still playing the father role in your extended family, as a family that you come from. So as a father, there are a lot of expectation, just like there are a lot of expectation from men in the society. So being a father is all about being present. Being a father is all about being there to render. You may be a father that is not so financially buoyant, but that presence, that advice, that counseling helps you to build good relationship with not just your kids, but also your wife. A man is not just a father to his kids, but also his wife.
So is a father to his wife. In what way?
When you take a woman's hand in marriage and you bring her to your home, she automatically becomes your responsibility. Men have, like I said, been conditioned to such a way that they are meant to be wiser than the women.
Meant to be.
Wife, yes.
I like the way you put it, meant to be.
Yeah, they are meant. That is what the society expects.
Okay.
They are meant to be wiser than the women. So when you marry a woman into your house and your wife is doing something the wrong way, you don't need a rod at that point to correct her because she's not a child.
Good. Okay, so you were talking about being a father to your wife. Can you explain that, please?
Yes, being a father to your wife in this, because when your wife's father or your wife's family hands your wife over to you in marriage, they expect you to guide her. They expect you to provide for her.
Okay.
They expect you to be a counselor in her life.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, they expect you to be the wiser one.
Okay.
So once she's doing things that are making it seem like she's going overboard, you call her back to track, advise her, and then you talk about issues with her, just like you would do with the child.
Okay.
So that way you are playing a fatherly role in the life of
In the life
in
of
the
your
life
wife.
of your wife, brother.
Okay. But you said you will call her like you will speak, you will talk to your child. But how do you speak to her when you're trying to advise her? Because sometimes we find that men can be a bit overbearing when they want to, maybe if there's an issue with their wives. So how should a man be speaking to his wife in this kind of scenario?
It depends on the situation. Because sometimes there are also times when women can be overbearing.
Yeah, I
must
hear
say,
that.
I've seen my mom and dad go back and forth on certain issues,
Yeah.
and I know that there are some times where women can actually be very overbearing. But the most important thing is you put love first. Love is all that matters.
Yes.
Love and understanding.
Yes.
When when two couples are getting hot at the same time, hot, very hot at the same time,
Yeah.
you find that there will be no headsway to sorting out the issue at hand.
Yeah.
But when one is cold enough to understand why the other is hot and, going head over heels concerning a particular issue and all of that, there will be a ground where if you're talking with a very soft tone, showing this person that I'm not saying this because I want to hurt you. I'm not saying this because I want to make you think bad, but I'm saying this because I love you, and I'm saying this because I want us to understand each other. The better one on that show is on the corporate.
Okay. You use the word "I love you." How many African men use that word regularly?
In Africa, I would say it's rare. I'm saying it's rare. But these days, with the new generation of couples that are coming up, I
Yeah.
think things are actually changing.
Okay.
Because people are not, this podcast is an eye opener. People listen to things like this.
That's
People
true.
listen to therapy section between couples, and then they learn things from there. So such things have been able to make couples understand that there are ways in which they can actually build a successful marriage
Yeah.
that is devoid of violence.
That's true. Do you think, this is kind of veering off slightly from conversation, but do you think that there is any room for abuse in a marriage from either party? This kind of is a bit away from our topic, but what's your view on that?
Abuse should never be tolerated. A lot of people have actually lost their life,
Yeah.
lost their lives as a result of abuses in marriage.
Yeah.
Sometimes abuse doesn't necessarily need to be physical. There are times where it is emotional.
Yeah.
By the words we say, our words can go a very long way to hurt people.
Yeah.
When you face constant abuse in your marriage and you've done everything within your power, or in your relationship and you've done everything within your power to face it, to talk about it, to ensure that you do something about it, and your partner is not saying reasons with you, I think it's better you walk away alive than to be brought out of such relationship or such marriage in a body bag.
Exactly. I hear
So
you.
abuse should never be tolerated.
Should never be tolerated.
I'm not in support of abuses.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, we went that's a bit off the question what we were talking about, but it just came in my mind and I thought I'm just going to have to ask this question. So what's one lesson you wish younger men could learn earlier to save them from future heartache?
Yeah, I think younger men, one of the things they should learn is that vulnerability is not weakness.
Okay.
We should learn how to talk, how to communicate, how to speak up. Let us forget about the standard that society has set for us that we should always learn to be men and not to appear weak. It is in trying not to appear weak and learning how to be a man that we hold so much inside of us and we don't let it out. And it pushes us to that realm where it may even get worse and graduate into something that begins to affect our mental health.
Yeah.
So speaking about issues as they're happening or as they affect you would really go a long way. Younger men should learn how to speak up.
Okay.
Talk to people you trust. Talk to people you think you can talk to. It could be your church. It could be among your friends. It could be maybe a social gathering. Maybe you can even come on air or look for podcasts like this that gives you opportunity to talk about life challenges and how to navigate them. These are good opportunities in young generations to actually not keep things inside of them
Of them.
to the extent that it begins to affect them mentally.
Do you think that?
And I also
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
okay, and I also would advise the younger generation to learn how to look within and next the abilities that they have.
I wanted to ask about counseling because a lot of men generally don't like to go for counseling, especially professional counseling. Why do you think that's the case, and how can we get away from this apathy towards professional counseling? I understand talking to your friends, talking to your pastors, and what about professional counseling? Why is it that lots of people don't like to, and what can we do?
Yes, people feel after going for professional counseling, it really doesn't do it, especially in places like this, Africa, Nigeria. People don't really believe that. They don't believe in professional counseling at all. They just believe in I'm going to fight through it. It's going to get better. But the more you keep doing that, the more it keeps getting worse. And then also in places like Africa and in places like Nigeria, I think that it's not like in the Western world where people easily have access to counseling. It's
Okay.
limited here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think also one way that people can be encouraged to go for professional counseling is people who are into these things like professional counseling can do campaigns on it, talk about it, share flyers on it,
okay.
build stories, build narrative around it that people can easily relate with. I know that, oh, this story looks like something I'm going through. I think I need to talk to this person about it. So bringing it, enlightening people about the importance of going for professional counseling is very, very important. Most people don't have that enlightenment.
I think that's for somebody who's in that social space now. Maybe something you could take upon and maybe look into doing that, because I think that is something that is necessary. I think it's really necessary for people to go for counseling if there is a need for it. I mean, it's something that's necessary. So I was going to ask you, if you could speak to the boy you once were, what words of hope or truth would you speak to that boy? The young you. Look back a few years and speak to the young you. What would you say?
I would just tell my younger self, buckle up. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy ride, especially in the Nigerian community.
Okay.
Buckle up. You're going to face a lot of hurdles. You're going to face a lot of challenges, but be focused.
Okay.
Be steadfast. Be consistency in doing things you love, because it will take you somewhere.
To take you somewhere. So when you say buckle up, what does that mean?
Buckle up
in practical terms, when you say buckle up, what does that mean?
Get yourself prepared for the times you will lose, the times you will win, the times you will fail, the times you would succeed.
Okay, so in times when you lose, what do?
I don't give up.
Don't give up.
In times when I lose, I see losing as a challenge to do better.
Okay.
That's the kind of person I am.
Okay. And in times when you win?
That from my mom.
Oh, that's nice. How did you learn that from your mom?
My mom is one of the strongest women I know.
Okay.
She's strong. She's a strong woman. If I have my way, I would just ask God, prepare a woman like my mother for me so that I can get married. You're
already saying it, so God has heard. From your mouth to God's ears, He has heard you. So,
Amen.
And when you win, how do you handle wins? Because sometimes
I do not let my wins get into my. I celebrate my wins in the little way I can, and then I also use it as a point of reference to motivate people, not pride, but just something to motivate people.
Wow, we've fast come to the end of the show. I'm really grateful to you for your time, for really coming on here to just share, with us your wisdom, and it's been really, really interesting. Before we end the show, I like to end the show on a note of hope. So what would you, final words of hope for listeners out there? What final words of hope would you want to give?
I want to tell every listener out there never to give up on their dreams.
Okay.
When you're going through any sort of challenge in life, no matter what it is, always speak up, talk to people about it. You never know where help can come.
You never know where help can come from. Thank you so much, Newton, for coming on Navigating the Chapters of Challenge. How you mentioned your not podcast. I do the podcast. You mentioned your YouTube channel and Facebook. Can you tell us your YouTube channel name and your Facebook and how people can contact you if they want to contact you?
Yes, my YouTube channel is Mr. Review on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Review.
Yes, one where I talk about issues, make commentaries on issues, post some shorts from time to time. And then I
Okay.
also have another YouTube channel, Niger Shadows
Okay.
YouTube channel, where I use pictures to tell real life stories. Like recently, there was something that happened in Anambra State where a nurse was killed by a supposed client who lured him to his house to treat his ill mother. Getting there, she found that there was no sick patient. She was only lured for money ritual purposes. She was killed and her organs were invested.
Oh my
So
God.
I used pictures to tell that stories,
Okay.
to enable people to know what is actually happening in the Nigerian society
Okay.
and to call out such evils.
Okay. So it's just
And
two
then on my
YouTube.
Facebook page,
Yeah.
on my Facebook page, I write about mental health issues. I build stories about mental health issues.
Okay.
And then you can follow me on Facebook at Ohwerhi Ogenemine. Just type Ohwerhi Ogenemine on the search bar,
Okay.
Facebook search bar, and you can search me. And if you want to contact me, you can also contact me on my email at newton.201938@yahoo.com.
Okay. So I'm going to put all that information in the show notes so that if anybody wants to contact you, they can contact you there. And please, people, go out there, subscribe to his YouTube channel and follow him on his YouTube channel and follow him on Facebook as well too, because there's a lot of wisdom in this young man's mouth. I've learned quite a lot from him in just a short time that I've got to know him. So really grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll have you back on the show again sometime to talk about something else. Probably we'll talk about the topic we did on the Facebook the other day, paternity. What did you call it? Fraud. We might talk about that again sometimes.
I would also like you to talk about balancing the priorities.
Okay.
In between the family you belong to and the family that you come from.
Okay.
It's really going to be a good topic for people to learn how to balance the priorities, when to say no to their extended family, and how to prioritize the nuclear family. Okay,
that would be a good topic. So we'll get you back again to come and have that conversation with us sometime soon.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining me today on Navigating the Chapters of Challenge. Your time means the world to me, and I hope today's episode inspired and encouraged you. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends, family, or anyone who could use a little hope and encouragement. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you love listening to podcasts. Want to support the show? It's easy. Just click the support button on Buzzsprout, and any contribution, big or small, helps us keep bringing you stories and insights that matter. And don't forget to check out our latest book, Navigating the Chapters of Challenge from Trials to Triumph, available now on Amazon. It's packed with inspiration and practical wisdom to help you navigate life's storms. You can also check out our website, www.chaptersthatchange.com, your home for soul-deep resilience, faith-filled growth, and resources that transform every chapter of your journey. We'd also love to hear from you. If you have a story to share, an idea, or just want to say hi, feel free to reach out. Your voice matters, and who knows, your story might just inspire our next episode. Thanks again for listening. Stay strong, stay inspired, and I'll see you on the next episode.